All right. And we are live. Hey, sis. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing real good.
All
What
right.
you doing? No, just kidding. All right. So, hi, everyone that's watching this either in, a couple of minutes or later on down the road. Today, we have been on the planets, but I started thinking after going over another deck that I'm just loving right now, which is the Real Sky Astrology Tarot. She starts off the deck by going through, like, showing you where things fall in your actual chart and how it makes a difference. So I thought, let's touch on the basics of like the fundamentals of the actual chart itself, the wheel, so that we understand what we're looking at. Because we've started talking about the components and the houses and all that, but it's no good if we don't understand the fundamental wheel, right?
Right.
Where things fall. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was, and let me put this up here, understanding our charts. So on the top of your wheel, and see, I didn't really show it on this one. I did on the second one. Maybe let's start with the second sheet first.
Okay.
And this is an actual blank chart. This is how usually it is. You have, you see all your houses. This is the structure of a wheel. On the left-hand side, you have your ascending. Right in the center, the left center is your ascending, or what other people would say your rising. That is where you will find your rising sign. And there's a reason for that. And then on your other side, usually in the cusp of your 7th house, is your descending sign. At the cusp of your 10th house is your midheaven. And your 4th house is called your Amum Coeli, is what it's called. And it is the lowest part of your chart. So, Sissy, if you want to read what the ascending sign, what that means in your chart.
The ascendant is the sign that is coming up on the horizon at the time of your birth. It is the face that meets the world. It is the way that others see us. It is the first sign of our houses. Once we know our ascendant or our rising sign, we have a better understanding of the rest of our houses because they follow in suit around the rest of the wheel.
Right. So let's talk about that a second. So let me pull up my chart really quick. All right. So you can see I have my actual true sky sidereal chart run. And the reason that's important is because there are actually 13 zodiac signs, not 12. And so, I mean, not everybody wants to use that system, and that's fine. But for me, that's what I choose to use because it depicts what's really in the sky right now. So you'll see on the left-hand side, my ascending, the AS, is in the sign of Gemini. So my ascending is Gemini. And then quickly after that, it goes into Cancer. So I'm just out of the cusp. I have just gone into Gemini. Or no, I'm ending in Gemini and starting in, because I always get it confused which way the wheel is turning. So the wheel is turning this way. So I am just at the end parts of Gemini and moving into Cancer. So with that being said, all the way over on the other side, and it doesn't really show the DS, but if you follow the horizon all the way over on the other side, that is in the cusp of 7, the house 7, that is my descending sign. Okay. And so my first sign, or my first house, actually has Gemini Cancer and Leo in it, believe it or not. Because with true sky, one of the differences also is that in true sky or real sky, the constellations are not all 30 degrees. In truth, they're not 30 degrees. Some are larger and some are smaller. But in your basic systems, I don't want to say basic systems, in your systems like Western and Vedic, they use 30 degrees in order to even it out. So, but this one doesn't. This actually depicts what's really in the sky. So then my next house, if you're following like a Western, would have been Cancer. Then Leo would have been my third house. But because I'm using this, you can see in the chart where my ascending sign is. So with my sun all the way over on the other side of the chart, and that's not always the case here, but it is for me, my sun was in Sagittarius. So although my sun is in Sagittarius, my ascending sign is in Gemini. So the way that I present myself to the world and the way that others see me is like as a Gemini, not necessarily as a Sagittarius. But I have read something that said that Geminis are really good at learning and relaying that back. So Gemini is one of the only signs that actually, no matter what your sun sign is, you kind of still depict your sun sign, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I'll have to do more research on that, but I thought that was pretty cool. So let me go back to this one. Now, do you want to read about the descendant sign, Sissy?
The descendant is on the cusp of your 7th house of partners. It is said to be the part of your chart that shows what you are looking for in others, looking for in your marriage partner. Interesting.
Yes. So with that being on in the 7th house, the cusp of the 7th house, you're descending. So I will pull mine up again. And I'm looking for a Sagittarius. And I am a Sagittarius. But what is a Sagittarius? A Sagittarius is somebody that is a seeker, somebody that likes to learn and be adventurous, and a changeable, mutable fire sign, right? Because like we had talked about before, not all fire signs are the same. Not all water signs are the same. They're all different. Some are more easily changeable, they're more flexible, and some are very fixed and it's their way or forget it if they're badly aspected. But just to show you, so that's what I'm looking for, is a fellow seeker, and I am a seeker. So I'm looking for in my partner somebody that I can share those things with. Right? So, yeah, I did not really get one of those.
Yeah, it says I'm looking for Pisces. Bob is a water sign, but I don't think he's truly Scorpio. I think he's more of a Libra.
What is Bob's rising sign?
Shoot, I can't remember without pulling it up.
Funny? I did my husband's true sidereal, and although he's not a Sagittarius, his rising sign was Sagittarius.
Oh, well, there you go.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how that works?
There you go. Well, that's
his 7th house was on Capricorn.
Oh my goodness.
Which I have a lot of Capricorn energy in me. You can see I am definitely on the cusp.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what system I do, I'm on the cusp. So I share like qualities of both. So,
yeah.
I just thought that was pretty interesting.
That is very interesting.
So do you want to read about the midheaven? And remember, midheaven is all the way up at the top of our charts. It's in the cusp of the 10th house, which is the 10th house of career. So go ahead and read that, see.
So the midheaven is on the cusp of the 10th house of career. It is said to be the highest point in our charts, the most public part of ourselves that we share, and also where the world can see our accomplishments. It is the place also associated with our life's purpose or mission. Wow.
So going back to mine, and I'm just doing that because I have mine readily available just to show a chart. So you can see my midheaven, which is funny. In real sky, it's not actually the 10th house because it's not everything is not perfectly 30 degrees. But let me go back and see if I can find another one because this might make it a little bit less confusing. Let me find my sidereal. Okay. Here's my 10th house. There's the MC in the 10th house, which in my regular sidereal, which is not depicting all 13 and not the different sizes. This is more of a structured 30-degree houses. That's funny. My Chiron is also in my 10th house. So my mission is to heal myself, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then turn around and go and help others heal in the same way and teach in this way. So that's my Chiron. And it's also in Pisces. Pisces is the most psychic of all of the signs. So my career has something to do with, like spiritual counseling.
Divination, obviously. Yeah. That's fantastic because you're following your true path all the way.
But this one is different. Although it's really not. It's in my 9th house. And see, I don't know. We'll do another one on just strictly real sky so that I can teach that. Because I think it can be a little bit confusing. But that's what I want to go with, real skies, because you know what? This last week, I actually was checking out here, let me minus this down just for a second. This last week, I was actually checking out the moon on, the apps that we have, Sissy.
Oh, yeah.
Solarium. Or I have another one called Sky Map. These are both astronomy maps. So they're based on what's actually in the sky, right? And I knew that Western astrology did it with, like the planets and stuff like that the planets are not actually where they say they are because it's based off of a fixed system. But I didn't know they did that with the moon too. So I was going through like my Moonology planner, and it said that this was a full moon on the 28th, a full moon in Libra. Well, I seen on Real Sky group that I'm in,
she put Virgo.
Yeah, she put full moon in Virgo. I was like, wait a minute. At first I'm like, I did a second look. I'm like, wait a minute. What's up with that? It threw me off. And the reason it affects me is because if I'm going to be teaching this kind of stuff, it's hard for me to say, well, it's a full moon in Libra and this is how it affects you, when it actually isn't even a full moon in Libra. You know what I mean? It was a full moon in Virgo. One is an air sign and one is an earth sign.
It makes
one is a mutable sign and one is a cardinal sign. Two totally different types of energy.
Yeah.
So it made an impact on me. And I thought, you know what? I just can't do this anymore. So for now, not that I don't want to still continue studying. And I'm not saying that Western is not accurate or Vedic is accurate within the system itself. But me being, a true seeker, use what I know to be fact, to be what's truly reflected in the sky. Because everything else just doesn't feel right to me. That's me personally. So the next thing, I'm sorry, I kind of threw us off, but I had to put it in there. But I will be talking about real sky. Because I think some people it will make a difference. Because I think a lot of people that are in here are truth seekers like us. Right? So, all right. So let's bring this one back up again. So the last one is called the Imam Coeli. Do you want to read about that, Sissy?
The Imam Coeli is the lowest part of our chart. It is also referred to as the nadir, or bottom of the sky. It is said to give us the keys to our unconscious thought. Our thoughts are about ourselves and our confidence rooted in our previous experiences from early childhood and even from previous life cycles. It sits within our fourth house. This is where our inner child teaches and nourishes our adult selves.
So what this means is the very bottom of our chart in the fourth house, which by Western astrology, and let me get rid of this one and let me just go into my sidereal, my plain sidereal chart. So the fourth house is for me in Virgo. Okay. And sidereal. And so with that being said, that means I think like a Virgo in my deepest, from the way that I was raised, the early childhood, because mom does have a lot of like Virgo energy in her as well. I know she does. So that is the earliest thing that because mom was always very, if you think about it, she's got to have it in her chart. I need to run her chart, but making her lists every morning before she started her day, drinking her coffee. She does everything like in a routine. She's very structured. That's why I know she's a friggin' Capricorn and not an Aquarius. Okay, I know she is. She likes playing by the rules.
Too, I believe. She's got to be.
Probably. She's got a master number. She's a 22. She was born 22. That's a master number. So that is like strong foundational on top of being a master number. So I think she was like a starseed. I think mom was a starseed, like the first set that came in. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah.
But so my earliest childhood memories and the routines that mom always did, that's what taught us.
Yes.
So you can either go with that or you can go against that, because I find that some things I'm almost like rebellious, like not cleaning my house from ding to dong like she does. So I'm a bit rebellious. It could be a bit of laziness, but it's also that it just, anything that's like so structured like that, even when it comes to for myself, I feel constricted by it.
Yeah.
So, and the fourth house is the house of like strong family. It's like a cornerstone house. So wouldn't it make sense that that is where like your childhood, like development, your environmental, your personality, your subconscious thoughts, that's where it would affect you, is right down on the Imam Coeli at the very bottom, or nadir is what it's called, of your chart.
Mine is Sagittarius.
Exactly. That makes perfect sense.
I know.
Ultimately, you are, above all, a friggin' seeker.
Yeah. Yeah. And carefree too. I mean, when I'm home. Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love structure, but I am my own boss. I'm my own boss. Nobody tells me.
Yes. Right.
Then I get irritated.
I think that is a Sagittarian thing too, definitely, because Bailey's like, because Bailey's Sagittarius, right? Western at least. And I tell you, when it came to school, even like learning, like
used to be her idea.
She would say, you know, this is what the teacher was telling me, that this is how I need to do it, but I know that my way is better, so I'm going to do it my way. And she got lower grades because she was doing it her way. But I'm telling you, she was really good at it. She just had to do it her way. And I'll be darned if somebody else is going to come in there and teach her what she already friggin' knew is the right
Yep.
way. You know?
Faith is the same way too.
Yes.
She'll listen and she'll be sweet about telling you, oh, okay, thank you for the advice. And you know, as soon as you're out of the picture, it's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thanks for the advice.
Sucker. Yeah. So now we're going to talk about the different parts of the wheel. So as you can see, the public side. So we have our horizon. We talked about the ascending. We talked about the descendant. We talked about the midheaven, which is the top of our charts, right? So anything from your ascending to your descendant on the top of your chart, that is a part. So what I mean by that is any planets that you might have in any of those houses, which would be your 12th house through your 6th or 7th house. So it'd be 12, 11, 10, 9, because the wheel actually starts at the ascendant and works its way around,
Right.
counterclockwise.
Yep.
So anything that is above the horizon that you'll see in the little gray shadowed part, that is your public side. Those are the things that we share with other people. That's also considered like daylight, right? So if you were born during the day hours, then your planets would be up on the top.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, that's not always the case, but your sun would be.
Right.
So, well, and that also depends on where you're born and whether it's daylight savings, if it's in the middle of winter, because I was still born kind of during the day, but the sun was definitely going down because we're in Michigan. And so it is what it is. But so at the bottom, on the next side of that, below the horizon would be everything that you keep private. Those are more things that you keep for yourself. Or it could be also considered like the night hours. So Sissy, you want to do the other side?
Are the parts that
we name for it. So the stuff that you see that's in the shaded area, which is on the left-hand side or ascending side.
Okay.
Which here, I'll do that. I'll bring it up a little bit. I don't know if
the
that
planets and aspects on the ascending side of our chart is what we have control over.
Right. So think of like any planets that you have like in your first house, which the first house is like the body and your, the way that you present yourself, right? So if you, depending on how you dress, right? Depending on how you do your hair, depending on how you do your makeup, how you walk, how you talk, those are all aspected in your first house, which is on the left side of your chart. You have control over that. You have control over certain aspects of these other things, like your second house, which has to do with like gains and losses from your family and profits and stuff like that. As you get older, you have control over like your gains and losses because of how you choose to spend your money and what you choose to spend it on and how you save, those kind of things. The third one is like your third house is like your neighborhood and like the church you go to, the supermarket that you shop at, right?
Right.
So it's planets, and you have Chiron or North Node or South Node or any kind of aspects on your left-hand side of your chart. Those are all things that you have control over by like your choices. And or if you're a magical practitioner or whatever, by the magic that you do. Now, the stuff that's on the right-hand side, that's on your descending side, those are the things that just happen to you, whether that be good or bad. So I'm guessing, because I don't know if I believe that 100%. I think we have control over a lot of things, even the stuff that has
what other people do, maybe.
That could be, or the things that we like charted for ourselves. You know what I mean? So I want this. This is supposed to happen at this part in my life. This big thing is supposed to happen. But I'm still not a huge believer in that. I'm still on the fence about that. because I like to think that we have more control over all of our life, depending on the choices that we make and the attitude that we have. And, but some things we probably don't have over some things, like the family that you're born into, or
right.
stuff like that. So that is pretty much everything for today. That is the structure of the wheel. What do you think?
I like it. To me, it does make sense, except for, the things that we control and just happen to us. That's like definitely new to me. So I guess that's something I would think on and be like, okay, I could see maybe examples or something.
Yes. Exactly. So it puts things into perspective a little bit. It helps you understand the actual wheel, the system, how it works a little bit. Not all systems have a wheel. Like the Vedic. The Vedic is more of like a square, and the houses are like triangles. So that one's a little bit different, but this is more based on, what we're teaching here is more based on like the wheel design. So, yeah, I think it's pretty interesting to know that if you want to look at what your life purpose is, that you can easily look towards the top. And another thing, talking about like star seeds and stuff like that. Right. And I know that that's something that's a little bit newer in concept, especially even for like astrologers.
Oh yeah, for pretty much, yeah. For anybody for a while. Yeah.
Yes. But I would think if you want to know if you come from a certain starseed system, the information that I have heard is you look at what's coming up on the ascending. So just like right around the rising sign, what is coming up? That's an indicator. On the descending, any kind of star systems that are on the descending, your midheaven, the parts that we just talked about today. Think about those things. And I can tell you the way that we, show ourselves to the world and stuff like that, even though I'm Gemini, my ascending, right through Orion, as I was, right straight through the constellation of Orion was on the eastern or on the western horizon coming up at my time of birth. I think that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I just had mine done, and I'm not sure what her formula is, but she found Arcturus incarnate 6 times, Orion twice, and the Pleiades twice.
Okay, so where did you get that done?
Laura, it's something starseedsunited.com. If you look that up, her name is Laura something, and I found her on Etsy. Maybe look up Starseeds.
Okay, so LauraStarseedsUnited.com, something like that. I just put it in the chat.
And I believe it was on Etsy. And I bought it. Did it come right up?
I'm just putting it in the chat for people to go back as they're reading this. They can look at it again.
Oh, okay.
But I will definitely check that out.
Reports, you can get a, just a basic or get a full one. And I went ahead and got the full one.
Was it expensive, sis?
It was $15.55. Oh
my gosh, that's really good.
Yeah. And I just love the fact that she had put the 555 in there. I'm like,
exactly
what I'm getting.
Exactly. That shows you're a starseed, right? I would put for the prices on my stuff on my Etsy, I would put like 1111 and
exactly.
So what exactly did she say? Can you tell us the report really quick?
Well, I have it saved on my phone.
Oh.
So I can't access it right now, but
well, you're on it, right?
It was just she was talking about my karma is the trying to be a perfectionist, and it's going to cause a lot of depression if I keep trying to do that. So Good Lord. That's the struggle every single day.
Trying to be perfect.
Just because like structuring myself so that everything is done exactly the right way. And to me, I take that as trying to be a perfectionist. I do it in my work. It's like I'm constantly checking over everything to make sure it's right. And if it's not, I feel, I don't know. It's like
out of sync or out of balance.
Yeah. And I mean, it'll eat at me until I go back and I fix it. I can't walk
I would be
away.
curious to know what pile you pick. I did a pick a card today, and it's about what is destiny? Is destiny knocking on your door? What does destiny have to say about you? And there's several different questions.
Door, because all I kept thinking after getting that report is it's time to follow through with some stuff. This is my palmistry hand. I thought it was cool.
It's creepy, but it's cool.
Like,
here, let me give you a hand.
It is going to come in handy because it has more stuff on it than the little tiny hand that we got with the 4 major lines on it. Yeah, it's cool. But anyway, after reading that, I was like, you know what? There are so many things, including my birth chart, telling me, the card that Amber picked for me. All of it is just saying it's time to rely on that higher power. Have some faith and stop with the monotonous things that are bringing you down.
Yeah, exactly right. I know, the thing is, though, sis, I don't think we're ready until we're ready.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's like a flip that switches, or
because fear of the unknown is just as bad as, the day-to-day things that eat at you too,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a gradual thing. It was just reading that was validation.
Yeah.
About how I feel, and it's like, you know what, I mean, yeah, I know I'm doing the right thing.
Yep. What is the theme song? What is our theme song?
I got the power.
I love it. When my son was here and his girlfriend and her daughter, that was her new theme song. I gave it to her.
Oh,
so she gave her. I said, "What's your theme song?" And she sang it. She goes, "I got the power." She's a little 8-year-old girl. I loved it.
That's one of the things, this book that I'm listening to about starseeds, it says give yourself a theme, or a saying, a mantra.
Yeah. That's right. All right. So we have talked your guys' ears off enough. This actually went by really, really quickly. I had a couple of minutes left. So I just wanted to say, just chat with my sissy a little bit. And because it was like a starseed report done by your birth chart, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So what you knew that there was a way, and you had been talking about it, and so I just did a search in the Google bar and came up. I'm gonna try that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, or who will be joining us later. We love you, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and/or/day whenever you're seeing this. Bye, guys.